Over the years, it has become more and more common for games to get remade or remastered so that new generations can access some of the greatest games of the past. It also gives us a moment to appreciate how far we've come in our video game capabilities, and it allows creators of games to really see their full vision played out. But what makes the difference between a remake and a remaster? Well, traditionally, a remaster is simply the graphics being updated to be on par with modern graphics, while a remake changes key elements of the gameplay or story in massive ways. However, when it comes to the recent Dead Space remake, honestly, while me and my co host Jason were playing it, we kept asking ourselves, what is the real difference here? The graphics definitely were more detailed and there was a lot more texture. We also had some slight things like getting our main character to actually have a voice now and have a face that we see. However, this doesn't feel like it changes the gameplay much. As we were playing, especially Jason, who had played the game multiple times, constantly kept saying, oh, well, was this or this is going to happen or this is going to happen, and it absolutely was. Some of the other main mechanic differences are going to be things like they made health items much more rare, which honestly just seems a little bit frustrating for an already kind of difficult survival horror. And certain things like allowing your character to move during certain story bits is also taken out, which seems a little weird considering it was a pretty interesting idea to be able to allow control of your character even in like story bits during a first person shooter. So to take that away feels a little strange. They also interconnected the entirety of the Ishimura, which is kind of cool, but overall it doesn't feel like again it adds very much. It just feels like another thing that they can say, hey, this is slightly different, so this is a remake rather than a remaster. Another slight change is that, for example, now you find weapons more commonly rather than buying them throughout the game. But again, what's the real difference here? Is it really that much different to find the weapons scattered throughout the ship or to buy them? Honestly, it again just feels like an unnecessary addition and doesn't really add anything. They also added certain side missions, however, these various side missions feel somewhat tedious at times, and it seems like a way to simply make it so that there's more time and feels like bloat rather than any actual meaningful addition to the gameplay. Now, I will admit one of the more cool additions is they allowed full zero gravity control, which before you would have to look at certain platforms and jump on over to them in the first one. So having that added to the first game definitely is a little bit more fun, but again, did we really need that change, especially when later Dead Space games actually did implement these things? It feels again like they just tried to pull randomly at these various different aspects of the game and said, hey, we can tweak this a little bit. And you may be asking yourself, well, hey, what is the problem with that? I mean, if they change slight things to make it maybe a little more fluid throughout the game, isn't that a good thing? I would say that this can be a good thing. However, we shouldn't accept calling it a remake. It should definitely be a remaster, as the additions to the game are quite insignificant or quite small. While they are intriguing and definitely, I think, worth being made, to call it a remake is definitely something that probably will lead to more negative outcomes in the future, as we see more and more games call themselves remakes, with less and less being actually changed. And honestly, that's sad because there are a lot of times that remakes can be used to implement game features that just simply weren't available at the time. But if we see this constant continue of having games called a remake when they really shouldn't be, then there's going to be, again, more and more studios that jump on and abuse this idea. So, what do you guys think? Do you entirely disagree with my take here on the Dead Space remake? Do you think it should be called a remake, or do you agree it should be called a remaster? Definitely let me know in the comments below. Besides that, you can follow our Twitter and Instagram. That'll pop up during the outro, as well as you can follow any of our other socials down in the description below. And we have more gaming reviews and essays on the channel if you'd like, as well as our channel Smokin Sessions has movie reviews amongst other things. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining me during this video, and I will see you all in the next one.
They sound in my head to the depths of the universe. It's a spell.